I am resident of Culver for YouTube. Joel Sains. That's my buddy Gordon Dymowski. That's my buddy Alan Gallant. That's my buddy Daniel Culver. We're here to review the movie Battle Royale, which is a Japanese film. Very, very good, very entertaining. Chosen by Daniel Culver. So, Daniel, buddy, why'd you choose this one?
It's actually a pretty good movie, and yeah, I thought you guys would enjoy it too, because I know like Jewel, I know you mentioned it, and that's actually what kind of inspired me to actually suggest it, because you already suggested, but I will admit I already kind of planned to suggest it before, but like I said before, I wasn't sure because it was a Japanese movie, but it turned out fine. And for those who might not be aware, there is a dub of this on the Blu-ray at least. I don't know if you guys found the dub, but but you can watch it
Yeah,
subtitled either
yeah, I
way.
found a dub. So
Hmm.
I actually paid for it. I wanted to see it in 4K, so I paid for it and I got a dub.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can get this. You can find this easily on cable. A couple cable providers show this really, especially the Sci-Fi Channel. They show the dub version. I have it recorded on my TV
Hmm.
from a while back ago, from like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
when they not that they just showed it 3 years ago, but they showed it way back when. And it's like if you record it, you get the dub version either way because it's on TV. But
Sure.
yeah, I went and rewatched the dub version, but I wanted to see the Japanese version too because as somebody who owns Ghost in the Shell, the second movie, the one that's what's it called, Innocence. It's very hard to find that on DVD in English. You can only
Hmm.
find it online in English currently. So I own the version where it's in Japanese. So I don't mind watching something in Japanese and reading the subtitles. Uh, this movie it's horrifically violent, but it fits because of what they're doing.
Hmm.
Okay.
Very sort of pre Hunger Games, if you will,
Yeah, totally.
pre Squid Game. I would say this movie probably inspired heavily what would happen with Squid Game later. Sorry, guys. Alan, when did you first see this?
Actually, this was the first I've seen it. I've heard of
Oh
it,
wow.
but I never got a chance to watch it before now. So
Cool. Uh, Gordon, when did you first see this?
I first saw it years ago. I think I probably saw it right after I saw the first Hunger Games movie on DVD
Mhm.
and thought this was a much better movie than the Hunger Games on DVD. And I'm glad you recommended this because I've been meaning to rewatch it. So you gave me a really good excuse to rewatch it, and I just can't believe, I mean, I can't believe how good this movie is.
it is. You never know with these kind of movies. They can
Yeah.
go from soup to nuts, but this one's really well done.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that too.
yeah, and you see a lot of cool things in this movie that you're going to see in later movies like the Maze Runner series and stuff like that, where they're like trying to survive. They don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
The suspicion of it. This movie plants so many good seeds that when the violence happens, it makes sense. It's like, okay, you get why this person did this to this person and all that shit. Isn't that good?
Yeah, the
Uh,
psychology of paranoia is really explored in this movie, you
Hmm.
know.
Oh, that's true.
yeah, and even like you said, one of the characters says about be careful who you trust, watch who you trust, or run. They'll even say run, and it's like yeah, friend turning against friend. Because again, these people are I think most of them in high school. I
Yeah,
think
junior high.
junior high. Sorry. Um, what from a psychology standpoint? Because Gordon, you're in psychology. What's something about you that stood out most about this film?
Ooh, do we have a few hours? I think
Lex.
um a couple of things. I think part of it is um the premise. It's the idea that the adults have said, okay, these kids are rambunctious, so what we're going to do is we're going to throw them on this island and let them kind of kill each other just to work it out with the idea that like one good smart person emerges. And I think it's also telling that Kitano, who is the older gentleman who runs everything.
Mhm.
I mean, when you look at him towards the end, spoiler alert, I mean, he turns out he's not much more emotionally he's like a kid himself because
Yeah.
his daughter hates him. In fact, there's a suggestion that he's kind of an alcoholic because she talks about his breath. Um, you know, he basically at the end, the survivors come, and he's got this painting that's very it's a very childish art style, and that it's hinted that he worked on that,
Hmm.
and it's you really get the sense that because the movie kicks off with him being stabbed, and then like one of the characters reveals that she hid the knife in her desk, and he reacts, well, what's an adult? How's an adult supposed to respond to a kid? And I think that's
Right.
one of the I think behind all the violence and the um kind of the gore is that there's this idea that like, well, you know, these kids have come from backgrounds that where adults failed them. I mean, the lead, his father commits suicide. And I don't think we ever realize I don't think we ever learned why he did. He just
Hmm.
did. But he had some like emotional issues. One girl is like sold off to a pedophile, and she's the one who fights back.
Hmm.
And what's really interesting is that at the end, there's a couple of requiems, and the first is like a flashback to before this all happened. And you can see how these kids used to be like just like regular old kids, and they went from being, um, just kids who maybe had problems of violence, or maybe being a little too extreme to like dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's actually interesting you say that with the Requiem thing because I don't know if you guys know this. There's actually a sequel to this called, Requiem.
Yes,
Well,
there
yeah.
is.
Well, that's the subtitle. But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what Gordon said too, because to add on that, yeah, I actually like that because, you know, it wasn't just like, oh, there's these random kids, like we actually, they humanized them, we saw their backstories and stuff, even
Yeah.
though they end up
At
dying,
least you saw the backstories of several of the main characters. You
Yeah.
really get a fuller picture of them. Particularly the ones, several of them that die, but also the ones that survive, get through it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, did you guys watch the director's cut or just the theatrical cut? Because there's the director's cut too.
I think I just watched the theatrical.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there's not much difference, but yeah, the reason why is I actually watched the director's cut, but I have the Blu-ray set that has both the movies, but with the first one you can watch the theatrical or the director's cut.
Hmm. Sure.
Yeah. Alan, what did you think of the psychology of this movie and over?
Again, there's a lot of things that wash over in conflicts, and one of them is, especially when it's life and death things, and you're throwing people together like this, and it's true of most of the movies. Some people are going to respond positively to it, and they're going to form alliances, and other people are just going to be paranoid the whole time, and angry they're in that position. So you see a lot of these levels in it, which make the characters very interesting because they're not all the same. They're all responding based on their history, based on their experience. So that's a fuller um, sort of thing than you get from some of these type of movies. Although I will say that Maze Runner was fun. I watched that series, and I've also, watched um, the Hunger Games series and found most of that quite interesting and
Hmm.
entertaining. So those all seem to work. So they followed this formula fairly closely, and the psychology does play a large part in it,
Hmm.
and it's varied depending on you're focused on this one and they have their reasons, whatever they are, and they're responding this way, and then all of a sudden you're over here, and you're getting a really nice variety of character responses.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is banned in some countries too. Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is banned in some countries, and actually, interestingly, says something similar to Nosferatu. But yeah, because as you guys know, like because of the lawsuit with Nosferatu, every copy was supposed to be destroyed in Germany. That actually kind of happened with this movie too. Like it was banned in Germany, and like I think either like the police confiscated them or they destroyed the copies. I don't
I
remember the
wonder
full
if it
story.
had anything to do with the fact that it was young people depicted as being
Yeah.
murderers and killers and also being killed.
Oh, yeah, I
They're
can
all
see that.
supposed to be like 14 years old or something, 15 years old.
There's it, too.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
There's a lot of things banned in Germany. I mean, you had there. We had, and they're not allowed to talk about what happened with Hitler at all.
I
No,
thought
it's
they had.
illegal to display anything that has to do with Nazism
Yeah.
in Germany.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that because that's why a lot of because that's why the neo-Nazis started using the rebel flag instead. Because in Germany
And
they can't.
they also use the Triskelion.
Oh yeah,
They
that's true.
use that as a symbol because it vaguely resembles swastika.
Oh yeah, I could see that. You know.
Very vaguely, but it
Hmm.
does. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, there was a kid. We had a German exchange student. He's calling home to his parents, telling them what he's. Do you know this? We can't talk about that. They hung up on it.
Yeah,
Because they
seriously.
list. Yeah.
Because he was probably seeing like news footage of neo Nazis or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Country.
yeah. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this movie from a psychology standpoint is really, really good. All the people to whether you care about, they're very interesting because as kids, as junior high students, it's like, okay, yeah, they're brats, they're a bit rambunctious, they're kind of violent. It's it's a weird metaphor too because there's characters in certain movies, like for example, in High Plains Drifter, the woman in the movie, the woman who Eastwood sleeps with, who rapes or whatever you want to say. I was talking about this when me and Butch did the movie. I said, notice when you watch that movie, that woman, she brings violence to everybody. The stranger who Eastwood plays is bringing violence back onto her
Hmm.
in every way later on in the movie when the apartment explodes and shit. The people in this movie, the violence is being done upon them by the people they either know or people who hate them. You have that kind of atmosphere that is really entertaining, and on an island too. The
Yeah.
fact that they don't just do it in Tokyo; they do it on a completely separate island,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
nice.
and I think too, it's um you have to keep in mind at the beginning of the movie there's like the pre there's like a narration that describes what happens. It's basically
Yeah.
there's crime issues in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Kids decide, oh, they're not going to go to school anymore, so they commit crimes. So juvenile crime grows up. So the Japanese government says, okay, well, and we're assuming that like the Japanese government in this scenario is fascist because they said, okay, well, we're going to set up this program. We're going to set up
Mm-hmm.
this battle royale program. So basically, I think, and they randomly select kids, classes of kids. So I think they look at like who's the most violent, and it turns out the one who's Kitano was stabbed by a member of that particular, it was class B. So
Yes.
I think, and when you look at some of the scenarios, it's like usually if there's a boy and a girl and one of them dies, they look up at the girl and say, "Oh, I've always loved you," because it's when you think that they're in junior high school,
Yeah.
it's not, they're also, you know, um, at the risk of sounding a bit pretentious, researchers have found that you don't really develop your critical thinking skills until you're in your late teens. So these are kids are, half the time, like the scene with the girls in the lighthouse where the one eats the poisoned spaghetti by accident. I mean, all that shooting is just done because it's like, it's not just a paranoia. It's like that kind of, you know, junior high bitchiness, or
Right.
one girl is like, oh, you're, um, I never liked your gang, but I always liked you. And I think it's one of the things that's really, I think, chilling about the movie, because that it's not just about paranoia. It's that these are kids.
Yeah,
And
and
what kind
it has lethal consequences in this
Mhm.
situation
It's
where
like
normally it's just an irritation.
mhm.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of wonder, like, what kind of government would think this is okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. What's some of you guys' favorite scenes? Daniel?
Oh, I would say there's actually a lot of good ones, but I would say one of my favorite scenes was actually when they introduced the battle royale because like you could actually feel the tension, because it's like there's like you guys said there's risks, so you know they could actually die from this. And I would say the other one was when it was revealed that like the teacher was actually like wearing a bulletproof vest basically,
Mhm.
because like you thought he was dead and then all of a sudden he walks, stands up.
It's like those two older punk kids that had been in the battle royale before. They were also wearing they had extra weaponry, and they also were wearing bulletproof vests.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was kind of honestly, it was kind of bullshit how I know they had different weapons, but it seemed like obviously some people had more of an advantage than others because it depends
yeah.
on what. you know.
I think that I mean it was a setup for that. They took the experienced kids and they say, here, have a grease gun, go to town. A burp gun, and none of the other or most of the others didn't have that. Occasionally, somebody had a regular weapon and maybe an automatic pistol or something like that, but nothing like those burp guns.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Alan, what's some of your favorite scenes?
Well, I did enjoy that first scene. I thought that really set the table for it. You start out, of course, you know what kind of movie it's going to be, but at the same time, they kind of lull you in the classroom thing, and he gets stabbed, and then we go on, and then all of a sudden, in a similar classroom, if not the same one, they're putting all these kids together, and they're starting to immediately emotionally and physically abuse them. Uh, Hollering at them, throwing things at them, and telling them they're going to have to fight each other to the death. So, and then that, and you kind of feel that along with the characters, what's happening to them. So that was interesting in terms of being it. Those feelings are really available to the audience at that point. Um, and then at the end, the denouement of the whole thing, when you finally get the catharsis of it's over, you know, they do a really good job with that. One last loss. They're the older kid that helps out the two others to survive, but he ends up dying anyway, but not before that whole thing is resolved between them all. So it's really well written.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed both the book kids. Obviously, all the action scenes and all that stuff, and that all really works well. But those two scenes, the bookends scenes, for me, were the most impressive.
Gordon?
Hmm. Let's see. Highlight scenes for me. Well, I would say the scene in the lighthouse with the spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's the scene where the the girl is running in her yellow tracksuit, and the guy comes out with the crossbow, and there's this like, okay, um, yeah, I mean, and it's played as like, in a situation like that, if there weren't weapons, it would still be like a kid has a crush on a girl, but he won't say no, or it
Mm-hmm.
gives it a little bit more of an edge. I would also say that like I forget the building is, but the scenes where they're able to hack in and they build a bomb to like blow up the school,
Mm-hmm.
because that's like and the guy saying, I'm gonna crush the system, where it's kind of like it's almost like the screenplay is saying, yeah, you know, it's not really much of a way to crush the system. And, crazy guy in a suit just starts blowing everything up because he's a crazy guy in a suit.
Yeah.
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 Uh, I think one of my favorite things most about this movie is which, because the one thing I was looking for with this movie when I first watched was, okay, is one of these kids just lying for the sake of lying to betray everybody else? Because when you get into the paranoia of it, that's what you're sort of like looking for. Like, okay, is somebody just lying their ass off completely? Like, oh, do
Yeah.
I like you? Yada yada yada. No, I'm gonna kill you anyway
Mhm.
because I never liked you. It's like
Yeah. There's
that
there's
shit.
definitely especially the first time you watch it, there's always the question
Mhm.
of manipulation going on between these characters. So,
Yeah, and that's one of the best traits about movies like that because you never know, right?
Mhm.
Like if you have the actor or actress selling hard enough, they're not tipping their cap or hand
right.
at all, which makes it really good. I give this movie a 10. What do you guys give it?
I think it's really well done for its genre. I give it a 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10.
Okay. Daniel?
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 as well, actually.
Cool, cool. Does anybody got anything to add before we go?
No, it's a
Oh,
really great. It's obviously a foundational movie for this type of movie that came, within a few years after. So,
that's true. Oh yeah, I'd say the idea of the collars is actually pretty good, you know.
mhm.
Um, so like, what are we doing next, guys? Are we letting
Well,
Patrick choose it?
yeah, well, I think I'll get in touch with Patrick because that way
Okay,
we can that way he can let us know what we're going to be watching.
okay, okay, cool, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Link to
and for those who are wondering, Patrick is actually working on Battle Royale, the board game. So,
Yes. And the stage play.
and the musical.
Apparently.
yes, yes, right. He's doing it all. He's doing
Yes.
it all.
Mhm.
Um, it's, kids, be on your best behavior. Link to Gordon Dymowski's episode page. The website's going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Gallant's YouTube channel, Cullen's Port After Dark. He's got a new video up. God damn it!
I do. I
Will be
do.
in will be in the description box. The link to Daniel Culver's YouTube channel, Magic Dove, will be in the description box. And yes, link to Patrick McRae's Dark Shadows Day Book of Down will be in the description box. Go pick it up if you haven't already. You guys have a safe night.
Good night, all.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. It was a pleasure as always.
Night, guys.
Good night.